So, the Paranormal Liberation War Arc in My Hero Academia has basically come to an end. And let me just say that it was a long, and I mean a very long arc, with a lot of crucial and important things occurring in this arc alone that has changed the entirety of My Hero Academia. And in this video, we're going to go through pretty much all of the important information that was revealed in this arc that can play crucial roles in the arc itself as well as in future arcs. Let's get started. Hey guys, how's it going? It is your boy, Big Blue Drew 97 here, coming at you with another video talking about the events of My Hero Academia, particularly the events that occurred in the Paranormal Liberation War Arc. And in this video, as I said, I want to go over a lot of the important information that has occurred, or events that have occurred, or information that we learned in this arc that either were very important in the arc itself or important to the story moving forward. And before we get into it, I would like to ask you, if you haven't done so, to subscribe to my YouTube channel, Big Blue Drew 97, as well as leave a like and a comment down below on the type of content that you want to see from this channel. And without the way, let's get started in this video. So, for starters, when it comes to the information that I'll be trying to provide, a lot of it is going to be like the crucial and impactful information that we learned, or information that we could say is foreshadowing to future events that happened in this arc. And I will try to do all of this in a sort of chronological order and try to do it as quickly as possible. So the first piece of information that gets revealed in the first few chapters of this arc is the reveal that Kurogiri is actually a Nomu, and that he is the corpse of a deceased Oburo Shirakumo, who was a dear friend to President Mike and Aizawa. And with this reveal, two pieces of information that we learn later on are directly tied to this reveal. The first one is what Nomu are, which are the corpses of deceased individuals that have been modified to contain multiple quirks and have the ability to follow orders instead of thinking for themselves. As well as the second piece of information that we learned is that the reason why Oburo was able to tell the heroes the location, or a crucial piece of information for the raid on the Paranormal Liberation front, is that we learned that quirks can contain the consciousness of the quirk user, which we learned this from All For One himself, where when he stole quirks, he could still hear the dreams or hear the people that were attached to the quirk. So we get these two pieces of information, and these two pieces are directly tied to a reveal that Kurogiri is Oburo Shirakumo. The next piece of information that we get revealed to us comes from All Might himself, when he reveals information about One for All to Deku and Bakugo through a book. All Might gathered a lot of information, and information that we gained from All Might is that All For One has fought all of the previous users of One For All. We get the name of the user of Black Whip, which is Daigoro Banjo. We learned that All Might's master, Nana Shimura, had the quirk Float, as well as later on we learned the quirk of the fourth user, which is Danger Sense, which allows for Deku to sense danger in his immediate area. And both Float and Danger Sense were both learned and unlocked in this arc as well as we get to information that we do not know anything about the fourth user, but that is because it was initially hidden from Deku by All Might, and we are later established the reasoning behind that when All Might and Bakugo talk to each other in a flashback. Next, in chapter 258, we actually get to learn the structure of the Paranormal Liberation Front arc and how it is organized. We learned that it is organized into 4 different teams, which each team having a leader that is a part of the original League of Villains, where we have Black Team, which is in charge of tactics, which is led by Twice. We have Violet Team, which is for guerrilla warfare, which is led by Getten and Dobby. We have Carmen, which is intelligence, which is led by Toga and Skeptic, and then we have Brown, which is the support team, which is led by Spinner and Twice. As well as we get the reveal that during this time, and when we learn about this information, as well when Hawks is gathering information and relaying it back to the heroes, as well as seeing Shigaraki beginning his transformation into being able to gain more power through the help of the Doctor. And in the same chapter where we learn about the teams of the Paranormal Liberation Front arc, we also get to see a general understanding of how the heroes have been separated into their teams. You have the team that was raiding the Jaku General Hospital, you had the team that was raiding the Villa, you had the backup team that was helping the heroes that were invading the Villa, and then you had the evacuation team of the city of Jaku. And right when this war begins, when the heroes invade the Villa as well as Jaku City, we actually get a major reveal of a character that we've seen prior, the Doctor, also known as Dr. Ujiko, where we get his real name revealed as Kyudai Garaki, as well as we get to learn that to be quirkless, when in actuality he has the quirk of life force. As well as during this time, we learned that he was the reasoning why the Nomus are able to exist, as well as other crucial information, such as the fact that he, as well as with All for One, was able to copy and replicate quirks, as well as that he was the individual that is giving Shigaraki the quirk of All for One, as well as confirming that the quirk All for One had right before he was taken out by All Might, he had a copy of his own quirk. And this is information that we gained from this arc. Going from immediately learning about the Doctor's true identity is when the fighting in the hospital begins, where we get to meet 5 new high-end Nomu as the Doctor tries to escape, as we get the introductions of 2 brand new heroes, Miracle with her quirk Rabbit and Crust with his quirk Shield. As well as during this time, we learn that Shigaraki is in the process of becoming complete, but he is only able to reach 75% because Miracle and Present Mike were able to break him out of his tank. At the same time that the heroes at Jaku City tried to capture Garaki, at the same time, the Mountain Villa team goes up against the Paranormal Liberation Front, where during that fight, we get a lot of these villains taken out by the heroes, but the most important part that happens at the Villa is the fight between Hawks and Twice, which eventually leads to Twice's death, as well as a fight between Hawks and Dobby that leaves Hawks extremely injured, as well as puts the seeds to a major reveal involving Dobby later on in this arc. And at moments where Hawks is about to die, Tokoyami was able to save him. And even though Twice dies in the invasion of the Mountain Team against the Paranormal Liberation Front army, he was still able to make a clone right before he died, which saved Toga and Mr. Compress. And this was very important because these 2 characters are going to be playing major roles either towards the end of this arc and in future arcs moving forward. And in chapter 272, we get the biggest change to this arc that will ultimately change the trajectory of this war. And that is the fact that Tomura Shigaraki, who was presumed to be dead by another hero that we get to meet, Exless, is actually alive and begins to wake up. Shigaraki wakes up and immediately decays not only the hospital, but a whole bunch of heroes, including the death of Exless and Crust, as well as the death of many heroes, including the high-end Nomus that were fighting the heroes in Jaku City. And this is revealing that Shigaraki has almost complete control of his ability to use decay. It is also revealed that because of Dr. Ujiko or Dr. Garaki, they were able to recreate the quirk destroying bullets. But unfortunately, Shigaraki was only able to save 2 of these bullets, which is very important because they are eventually used later on in the arc to try and erase Aizawa's quirk unsuccessfully, but due to the attempt, Aizawa had to cut off his own leg, which would eventually lead to his downfall when he eventually passes out, which allows for Shigaraki, whose quirk was erased. And with Shigaraki having better control over his decay quirk, it is also revealed that there is a new category of Nomu, which were near high-end Nomu, which unfortunately Shigaraki was unable to save all of them, but he was able to save a lot of them because of his new control over decay, which will eventually lead to many of the heroes fighting against these near high-end Nomu. And now that Shigaraki is awake, we get to see a lot of fights between characters that we know going up against Shigaraki. We have Endeavor going up against Shigaraki multiple times, as well as we see Bakugo and Deku going up against Shigaraki. And with Shigaraki's first encounter with Endeavor, it is revealed that with his quirk of All for One, he does have the quirk Search that was obtained from Ragdoll, which he's able to use and locate Deku. And he is also revealed that his plan is to try and attempt to steal One for All from Deku. And also, before Shigaraki actually goes to search for Deku, we also get the reveal that Deku is able to use 45% of One for All instead of the normal 30 without wrecking his body. And this could be very important because that 45% mark could be the reasons why he was able to obtain and unlock Float and Danger Sense. Shigaraki is able to go toe-to-toe with Endeavor, Bakugo, and Deku, even at the time where his quirk was being erased by Aizawa, which is the reasoning behind it is, as I stated previously, is because his body was modified in the same vein as a Nomu to have the same strength and power equivalent to All Might himself. And during this fight with the heroes, we get the reveal that All for One does have the ability to try and take over Shigaraki's body. Unfortunately, he is unsuccessful at the initial moment, but later at the end of this arc, it is shown that if Shigaraki is completely passed out, All for One can completely take over Shigaraki's body, which would eventually lead to the League of Villains that are left to flee from the war. And while Shigaraki was fighting off the heroes, he also gave a command to Gigantomachia to gather the OG members of the League of Villains and take them to his current location. And from here, we get another side plot of the Villa team trying to incapacitate Gigantomachia. The pro heroes were unable to do it, which left the reserve team to try and attempt to stop him, where they have the idea to throw anesthetics in his mouth to stop him. They are able to successfully do that, but unfortunately it appears to have had no effect on Gigantomachia whatsoever, as he decides to go towards the location of Shigaraki while creating so much destruction in his path, which will eventually lead to many deaths of many civilians, which could eventually lead to the heroes having a poor light put upon them by the fact that they were unable to save civilians from Gigantomachia's rampage. Shigaraki attempts to steal One for All from Deku, where we get to see Shigaraki, All for One, and Deku inside of the Vestige world, inside the quirk of One for All. From here, this is where we get the reveal of the idea that quirks contain the consciousness of the previous users, where we also get to see the original user of One for All, as well as Nana Shimura, communicate with All for One and Shigaraki. This is also the scene where we see All for One clinging on to Shigaraki as we see Deku trying to move towards them. After Shigaraki fails to take the quirk of One for All from Deku, he attempts to regain conscious and continue the fight, but with the help of Nejire and Ida providing backup, they do heavy damage to him. But unfortunately, at this exact moment, Gigantomachia comes and arrives on the battle with the other League of Villains on his back. But before Gigantomachia arrives with the other League of Villain members, Toga breaks off from the other members of the League to try and confront Ochako and tries to get an answer from her when it comes to how heroes view villains. She gets the answer from Ochako, but it is not the answer that she may have been looking for, which leads to her being separated from the other members of the League of Villains, which means that most likely than not, she did not escape from this war with the other League of Villains, meaning that she may be somewhere in the city. Once Gigantomachia arrives on the scene, it is revealed that Dabi is the firstborn son of the Todoroki family, Toya Todoroki, and at the same time that he arrives, he releases a video out to the world exposing Endeavor's secrets about his son and the type of person that he is. He then begins to fight Shoto and try to kill him in front of Endeavor to try and break Endeavor permanently. But before he is able to do that, Best Jeanist is revealed to still be alive and helps restrain Gigantomachia as well as the other members of the original League of Villains as well as Skeptic. Along with the reveal that Best Jeanist is alive, we also get the reveal that Lemillion, also known as Mirio, has been able to obtain his quirk back through the help of Eri. It is shown in a flashback that Eri does have the capability of restoring a person's quirk as long as her horn is big enough. So we get the reveal that Mirio is able to fight, as well as because Best Jeanist is back on the scene, we also get the reveal of Bakugo's hero name, Great Explosion Murder God, Dynamite! As well as the reveal of Bakugo, we also got the reveal of who Mr. Compress is, and how he is the great-great-grandson of a renowned criminal slash thief known as Oji Hiroma. As well as when he is restrained, as well as with the other League of Villain members, he takes a chunk out of his side to free himself, as well as to help free Spinner and Shigaraki. With his swan song, he tells Spinner, as well as hiding Dabi in Spinner's scarf, to try and wake up Shigaraki. When Spinner wakes up Shigaraki, Shigaraki is not the one that is active, but is actually All For One. When All For One uses his quirk, or his former quirk, to get the near Hyanomos to his location, he uses them to attempt to escape from this war. Deku tries to stop him, but it is unsuccessful as he vows that he will see him once again. And the reasoning why he decides to run away is to use this as a teaching moment for Shigaraki, as he's only able to escape with Skeptic, Spinner, and Dabi trying to teach Shigaraki a lesson. In manga chapter 295, where Deku recollects this moment and sees how All For One is taking over Shigaraki and how he decides that he wants to save Shigaraki. This could potentially lead and be foreshadowing to the final arc or the final fight between these characters for how Deku may try and attempt to save Shigaraki in the end. So, Chapter 296 came out a little bit earlier than expected while editing this video, so I'm going to add some additional information to it that are very important and plays crucial roles in the story moving forward, including the information that I provided previously. For starters, we learned that Shigaraki, when he escaped, or All For One when he escaped, he took with him 7 additional Nomu, as well as Skeptic, Spinner, and Dabi, and that he plans to break his old body out of Tartarus. And with that, we also get the confirmation of certain heroes still being alive, including Wash, Mandalave, as well as Edshot. And we also get the confirmation of the members of part of the former Paranormal Liberation Front being captured, which included Geton, Destro, and Trumpet, as well as the number of individuals that were actually captured in the Paranormal Liberation Front War Arc when it came to the heroes capturing these individuals. And we get that 16,929 were captured, but 132 members, including the Paranormal Liberation Front executives, were missing, meaning that they're either dead or they have escaped, where we also get the confirmation that Toga was able to escape. And these pieces of information are very important and will most likely play crucial roles in the upcoming arc when All For One breaks out of Tartarus. That's pretty much everything in a general overview of everything that has happened in the Paranormal Liberation War Arc. It is a lot, and a lot of it can be tied into potential future changes in the story and can have major effects on the story. I can make a completely second video on how the ending of this arc can play more into the story of My Hero Academia, and I may do so. But if you like this video and you liked all of the information in it, share it with people on the internet, as well as subscribe to my YouTube channel and leave a like and a comment down below on what you thought of this arc. Did you think that it was great? Did you think it was amazing? Did you think that it was bad? Leave your thoughts down below. Leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe to my YouTube channel, do all of that cool jazz, and hopefully I'll be able to catch you in the next video. Goodbye!